The NYPD spent nearly $1.1 billion on overtime in the 2024 fiscal year, which shows the department spent $141 million more than 2023.
I mean, it's mind-boggling. I've never seen anything like it. There's checks and balances to prevent this. It just seems like a free-for-all.
We have another officer to talk about. We're diving back into the NYPD corruption. In this story, it just dives into how dysfunctional everything is. Obviously, we talked about some of the officers under Jeffrey Madry's circle trading booty for overtime. But now we have this officer, Sergeant Rayna Madho, another officer that served under the big J himself, Jeffrey Madry. This officer has been taking tons of overtime while dragging behind her a mountain of lawsuits totaling $161,000 in settlements. So we're going to dive into the outrageous details of the lawsuits against this sergeant, an absolute ridiculous amount of overtime that she pulled in last year. When someone of the highest ranks messes up this badly, it makes you wonder, how deep does this corruption go? Let's get into it. We talked about Jeffrey Madry's case on a few of these videos on his channel. It highlights how poor oversight allows bad behavior to fester. Internal Affairs completely dropped the ball here, and the problem is Madry's mess isn't the end of it. We have Sergeant Rayna Madho, and her own story takes the disaster to a whole new level. Sergeant Rayna Madho, another NYPD officer originally hailing from Long Island, has managed to make headlines for all the wrong reasons. Faced her own public situation when she was arrested for shoplifting last month in December 2024, caught stealing items from a Target store in Long Island.
What's wrong with you, stupido?
Madho's actions completely shocked a lot of people, considering her position as an officer tasked with upholding the law and the fact that she makes a lot of money. She was charged with petty larceny and suspended without pay following an incident. This is someone that made over $200,000 last year, a staggering $55,000 coming from overtime alone. And yet she's out there swiping items at Target like she's some kind of desperate broke college kid.
Broke as a joke.
Honestly, if she just needed those items so badly, I'm sure she could have just asked Jeffrey Madry. I'm sure he would have found a way to slide them into her overtime perks. With all this cash rolling in, you'd think that she can afford her own shopping spree without resorting to being a thief. But no, this officer decided to add shoplifting charge to an already questionable legacy. A legacy that cost the city over $161,000 in lawsuit settlements. It's actually incredible when you think about it. So Madho's arrest is just only the tip of the iceberg. Over the years, she has been named in multiple lawsuits, resulting in settlements totaling over $100,000. Let's break down these cases in detail. So the first one was unlawful detainment and strip search. In one particularly disturbing case, Madho unlawfully detained a man and subjected to a strip search without probable cause. The victim described the ordeal as embarrassing and cruel, leading to a $30,000 settlement. The incident raised some serious concern about the abuse of power and the lack of procedural safeguards. So another case was a false marijuana possession charge. This case involved a young man who was falsely charged with marijuana possession during a routine traffic stop. Madho's actions led to his wrongful arrest and a tarnished reputation. The lawsuit ended in an $80,000 payout, the largest settlement linked to her misconduct, reflecting how severe the damages were inflicted. Another case, wrongful arrest outside a suspect's home. Another lawsuit stemmed from the incident where Madho arrested a man on his own property without sufficient evidence. Witnesses reported her aggressive behavior during the arrest. This led to a $7,500 settlement, adding to her growing list of questionable police actions. But she's acting like she's the lead actor in The Shield? What is she doing?
Do you have any idea what you've done to me?
I've done worse.
We have another one. Unlawful entry and assault. Involved Madho unlawfully entering a residence and allegedly assaulting one of the occupants. This brazen violation of rights resulted into an $18,500 payout, further highlighting her reckless behavior and her complete disregard for proper protocol. These lawsuits paint a really troubling picture for Rayna Madho's career, marked by the pattern of misconduct, abuse of authority, and negligence. Madho's actions almost makes it feel like she is in the movie Training Day. She's rolling up on people, flexing her badge, breaking into homes like she's running her own renegade Justice League.
To protect the sheep, you gotta catch the wolf.
Each lawsuit tells a wild story: humiliating strip searches, excessive force, wrongful arrest, you name it, she's done it. And all of this while happening while the NYPD's oversight mechanisms is basically just falling asleep on the job. It's not just about individual accountability. This level of unchecked behavior exposes a department failing to keep its officers in line. Excessive force during arrests, another payout stemming from here and there. This is a problem. Madho's police record also has her receiving several rewards for her service. The mix of rewards and bad behavior makes it hard to judge her career and raises some serious questions about how officers are promoted in the NYPD. One of her awards, believe it or not, was for exemplary attention to detail, which is ironic given her arrest for not paying attention to targets' price tags. Another award was for outstanding teamwork, a very curious choice considering the teamwork it must take to juggle multiple lawsuits. Perhaps the most laughable was an award for community engagement, which based on her track record seems more about engaging the community in lawsuits and settlements, breaking into people's homes, arresting people unlawfully. It's almost as if they're handing out awards just to balance out the complaints and lawsuits. Maybe Jeffrey Madho was giving her all the awards for other services, allegedly. The scandals involving Madho and Madho are not just isolated incidents. This is systemic issues happening within the NYPD. Both cases are pointing to a culture that is able to enable this misconduct, lack of accountability, and uneven standards for addressing complaints. Despite Madho's multiple lawsuits and complaints, she's continued to rack up overtime, earning over $55,000 in extra pay last year alone. Seriously, was no one else available to work these shifts? Or was Madho actively shielding her, ensuring that bad cops thrive under his watch as long as they give him what he wants? Again, allegedly. It's hard to ignore how her questionable actions kept getting swept under the rug while she just kept raking in all that cash. This is a bigger problem with accountability mechanisms that fail to address the misconduct before it spirals out of control. So the NYPD needs to get its act together and fast. So you can't fix systemic corruption with band-aids. It's time to address some of this and have some serious house cleaning. So here's what they're actually trying to do to stop this madness. So number one is overtime compliance officers. So each borough now has a designated officers to monitor overtime and ensure that no one's gaming the system. So basically you can call them hall monitors for the payroll. Number two, monthly overtime reports. The NYPD is making every borough produce monthly overtime reports. This means no more sneaky shifts or unexplained payouts, well, at least on paper. Then number three, overtime limits. To keep things in check, each borough now has monthly overtime limits based on actual job responsibilities. No more wild overtime payouts for questionable duties. So good thing Jeffrey Madho decided to quit, because I guess that means the jig would be up. These steps might be a start, but will they actually work? Let's be honest, compliance officers and reports sound great on paper, but what's stopping the same old people from finding loopholes? Monthly limits? Sure, but limits only work if someone is paying attention. And let's not forget, this is the same NYPD that let these problems fester in the first place. Unless these measures come with strict enforcement and new people to do these jobs and real consequences for their actions if they do something wrong, this could end up just being another let's look busy act while the underlying issues remained untouched. This scandal with Madho and Madho just exposed the rotten NYPD. Hopefully to move forward, they will embrace these real reforms. They have stronger oversight, as a culture of accountability, and a genuine commitment to rebuild the trust of the community. But we'll see what happens. We'll continue to follow the story. I'm sure there's other officers out there making way too much money for what they've been doing. Let me know what you guys think about this story in the comments below. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.